believe it existed.
The assumption that the Nightingales were just a myth was seeded within the Guild on purpose. It helped divert attention from our true to set foot inside in over a century. Now, if you'll both proceed to the armory to don your Nightingale armor, we can begin the oath.
What'll you give me for these?
I've got coin and I've got merchandise. Let's see what we can do. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Okay, lass, we've got these get-ups on. Now what?
Beyond this gate is the first step in becoming a Nightingale.
Whoa there, lass. I appreciate the armor, but becoming a Nightingale? That was never discussed.
To hold any hope of defeating Mercer, we must have Nocturnal at our backs. If she's to accept you as one of her own, an arrangement must be struck.
What sort of arrangement? I need to know the terms.
The terms are quite simple, Brynjolf. Nocturnal will allow you to become a Nightingale and use your abilities for whatever you wish. And in return, both in life and in death, you must serve as a guardian of the Twilight Sepulchre.
Aye, there's always a catch. But at this point, I suppose there isn't much to lose. If it means the end of Mercer Frey, you can count me in.
What about you? Are you ready to transact the oath with Nocturnal?
Yes, I'm ready.
Good. After I open the gate, please stand on the circle. I call upon you, Lady Nocturnal, Queen of Murk and Empress of Shadow. Hear my voice.
Ah, Carlia. I was wondering when I'd hear from you again. Lose something, did we?
My lady, I've come before you to throw myself upon your mercy and to accept responsibility for my failure.
You're already mine, Carlia. Your terms were struck long ago. What could you possibly offer me now?
I have two others that wish to transact the oath, to serve you both in life and in death.
You surprise me, Carlia. This offer is definitely weighted in my favor.
My appetite for Mercer's demise exceeds my craving for wealth, Your Grace.
Revenge. How interesting. Very well. The conditions are acceptable. You may proceed.
Lady Nocturnal, we accept your terms. We dedicate ourselves to you as both your avengers and your sentinel. Mercer's true crime.
He's done more?
Mercer was able to unlock the Guild's vault without 2 keys because of what he stole from the Twilight Sepulchre. The skeleton key. By doing this, he's compromised our ties to Nocturnal, and in essence, caused our luck to run dry.
So the key unlocks any door?
Well, yes. But the key isn't only restricted to physical barriers. All of us possess untapped abilities, the potential to wield great power securely sealed within our minds. Once you realize the key can access these traits, the potential becomes limitless.
The Guild should possess this item.
Although it would benefit the Guild more than you can imagine, in the end it would do more harm than good. If the key isn't returned to its lock in the Twilight Sepulchre, things will never be the same for the Guild. As time passed, our luck would diminish to the point of non-existence, and whether you know it or not, our uncanny luck defines our trade.
First time I ever set out to return something.
Very true. In our line of work, it's quite rare we set out to return a stolen item to its rightful owner.
Let's go.
Before we depart, Brynjolf has some business to discuss. I suggest you listen to him.
Listen, lass. There's one last piece of business we need to settle before we go after Mercer. The leadership of the Guild. Listen, lass. There's one last piece of business we need to settle before we go after Mercer. What I do, maybe even one of the best, but it's all I know. I've never been one to lead. Never desired it, never cared for it. Don't want it.
I don't know what to say.
Well, we have a bit of an errand to run before your coronation, so don't get sentimental on me now.
I accept.
Then it's decided. When this is all over and Delvin's contacts assure me that we've regained our footing in Skyrim, we'll handle the details. Until then, we have quite the task ahead.
Then let's get to it.
I've been poring over the plans you brought us, and I'm convinced the eyes of the Falmer are in the Dwarven ruins at Erkenthan. Carlia and I will meet you there. Prepare yourself, lass. This will be a fight to remember.
Do you think we stand a chance against Mercer?
If you would have asked me that yesterday, I'd have said no. But now I think our chances have improved. Look, call me crazy if you like, but I trust Carlia. I don't think she'd lead us down a suicidal path. Besides, I'd rather die with some of Mercer's blood on my blade than spend the rest of my life regretting that I ran the other way.
I guess we're nightingales now.
Aye, and some of what Carlia said is starting to make sense. Mercer may have damaged our reputation and raided our coffers, but this goes well beyond even his twisted form of larceny. Old Delvin kept calling it a curse, and we all laughed at him. Looks like the joke's on us.
Mercer's been here. I hope we aren't too late.
Those bandits back there.
Brynjolf and I found them like that. Mercer's doing. We have to catch up to him before it's too late.
I'm ready. Let's go.
We should tread carefully. I wouldn't be surprised if he's left behind a few surprises for us. What's that? It's Mercer.
I'm on it, lass. Damn it, there's no way through.
He's toying with us. He wants us to follow.
Aye, lass, and we'll be ready for him. Let's keep moving.
Can't say that I have. Imagine the riches hidden within these walls. I hear something. Enough games! Let's end this! Your fate is sealed!
That's what happens when you cross the Gale. Looks like we can take the low road or the high road across this chamber. Your choice.
What was that?
Finally! Let's end this!
Put up a fight! That's what happens when you cross the scale.
I live another day.
Shadows take you!
I think they've got
Nightingale.
This is what we are. The entire tower collapsed.
The only reason he'd do that would be to block pursuit. It must be. We'll have to find another way around.
Mercer was able to knock this thing down. Gods.
It's the king. In his hands, there's no telling what he's capable of. It's a dwarven centurion. Very tough and very
resorting to petty tricks, are we? Enough of this! Fight me!
Shadows take you!
For the weak. Who's there? Give up?
think they got the message.
Death approaching!
I send you to your rest.
This place reeks of flour.
This must be their hive. We'll have to keep silent if we want to avoid drawing their attention. Armadillos. Wait, I hear something.
You just made the last mistake of your life.
Turn on!
The blade curse
live another day.
Who's there? Come on. Now we fight.
Finally! Let's end it!
Stop this!
There you are! Die, damn you! My blade thirsts for your blood. Just as I was getting warmed up.
He's here, and he hasn't seen us yet. Brynjolf, watch the door.
Aye, lass. Nothing's getting by me.
Climb down the ledge. See if you can...
Carlisle, when will you learn you can't get the drop on me? When Brynjolf brought you before me, I could feel a sudden shift in the wind. And at that moment, I knew it would end with one of us at the end of a blade.
Give me the key, Mercer.
What's Carlisle been filling your head with? Tales of thieves with honor? Oaths rife with falsehoods and broken promises? Nocturnal doesn't care about you, the key, or anything having to do with the guild.
I don't believe you. Nocturnal guides me.
Then it appears the shadows shroud more than your presence. They blind your wisdom as well. Our actions have always been one and the same. Both of us lie, cheat, and steal to further our own end.
The difference is, I still have honor.
It's clear you'll never see the skeleton key as I do, as an instrument of limitless wealth. Instead, you've chosen to fall over your own foolish code.
If anyone falls, it will be you.
Then the die is cast, and once again my blade will taste nightingale blood. Carlisle, I'll deal with you after I rid myself of your irksome companions. In the meantime, perhaps you and Brynjolf should get better acquainted.
What's happening? I can't stop myself.
Fight it, Brynjolf. He's taken control of you.
I'm sorry, lass. I can't.
That's the best you can do.
Is it moving?
We have to find another way out of here before the place
I heard something. There you are. Come on.
can't believe it's over. 25 years in exile, and just like that, it's done. All that remains is to ensure the safe return of the skeleton key.
Sounds like it will be a simple task.
I'm afraid it's not that simple. When the skeleton key was stolen from the Twilight Sepulchre, our access to the inner sanctum was removed. The only way to bring it back will be through the Pilgrim's Path.
I take it you never used the Pilgrim's Path.
It wasn't created for the Nightingales. It was created to test those who wish to serve Nocturnal in other ways. As a consequence, I have no knowledge of what you'll be facing.
Then we'd best get started.
Brynjolf is needed back at the Thieves Guild to keep order while you're away. And I can't bear to face Nocturnal after my failure to protect the key. I'm afraid you'll have to face the end of your journey alone.
Don't worry, I'll return the key.
Take this with you. I'm not certain if it will help within the walls of the Sepulchre, but I certainly don't need it as much as you. I've had this bow almost my entire life, and it's never let me down. I hope it brings you the same luck.
Sorry, lass. I've got important things to do.
I don't recognize you, but I sense that you're one of us. Who are you?
I'd ask the same question of you.
The last of the Nightingale Sentinels, I'm afraid. I've defended the Sepulchre alone for what seems like an eternity.
The last? What happened to the rest?
We were betrayed by one of our own kind. In fact, I'm to blame for what's happened here.
How are you to blame?
I was blinded. Blinded by dark treachery masquerading as friendship. Perhaps if I had been more vigilant, then Mercer Frey wouldn't have lured me to my fate and stolen the skeleton key.
Wait a moment! You're Gallus!
I haven't heard that name in a long time. How do you know of me?
I have the key.
The key! You have the skeleton key! I never thought I'd see it again. And Mercer Frey?
Dead.
Then it's over, and my death wasn't in vain. I owe you a great deal, Nightingale.
I did this to honor the guild.
You've done the guild a great deed, and although they may not show it, I'm certain they appreciate your sacrifices. My only regret is that you had to undertake this task alone.
Carlia helped me.
Carlia? She's still alive? I feared she'd befallen the same fate, ending up a victim of Mercer's betrayal.
Then take the key and right all the wrongs.
Nothing would bring me more pride than to return the key, but I'm afraid it's impossible. From the moment I arrived here, I felt myself, well, dying.
How can a spirit die?
The sepulchre isn't merely a temple or a vault to house the key. Within these walls is the Ebonmere, a conduit to Nocturnal's realm of Everglow. When Mercer stole the key, that conduit closed, severely limiting our ties to her.
Then I'll have to proceed alone.
I'm afraid so. I'm weakening, and I can feel myself slipping away. The years without restoration of my power have taken their toll. Whatever damage has been caused can only be corrected by following the pilgrim's path to the Ebonmere and replacing the key.
How does the Ebonmere affect all of us?
The Ebonmere is a conduit through which Nocturnal influences our world. Not through magic or blessings, but purely through luck.
Luck is meaningless. What we do involves skill.
Yes, absolutely. Your skill is your own. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. But Nocturnal, she influences our luck. Nearly imperceptible assistance we get when we ply our trade.
How's that changing the way things are?
Think about the guild, about the state it was in when you began. Think about all the little things you might have heard. A pick breaking when it shouldn't have. The clouds in the nighttime sky clearing at the wrong moment. Our access to those bits of luck are what separates us from common bandits.
So with the Ebonmere closed, our lucks run dry.
Precisely. There are a few who still call Nocturnal Lady Luck, and for good reason.
What's wrong with the other Nightingale Sentinels?
With the Ebonmere, they're shadows of their former selves. They no longer remember their true purpose or their original identities.
Why aren't you like them?
My spirit didn't manifest itself in the sepulchre immediately, so fortunately I wasn't present when the Ebonmere was sealed. However, ever since that day, I've felt my power waning, slowly draining away.
What will I face in the Pilgrim's Path?
I wish I could help you, but I've been a prisoner in this very chamber for the last quarter-century. The only possible help I've come across are the remains of some poor fellow who is trying to follow in your footsteps. Perhaps his journal can help?
Can't you just take the key?
Whatever is affecting the Nightingale Sentinels, is starting to affect me too. As I get closer to the Ebonmere, I begin to feel myself slipping away. Even Yes, my friend. How may I help? Good luck, Nightingale.
my. What do we have here? It's been a number of years since I've set foot on your world. Or perhaps it's been moments. One tends to lose track. So, once again, the key has been stolen, and a champion returns it to the sepulchre. Now that the Ebonmere has been restored, you stand before me awaiting your accolades. A pat on your head, a kiss on your cheek. What you fail to realize is your actions were expected and represent nothing more than the fulfillment of your agreement. Don't mistake my tone for displeasure. After all, you've obediently performed your duties to the letter. But we both know this has little to do with honor and oaths and loyalty. It's about the reward, the prize. Fear not. You'll have your trinkets, your desire for power, your hunger for wealth. I bid you to drink deeply from the Ebonmere mortal, for this is where the agent of Nocturnal is born. The oath has been struck, the die has been cast, and your fate awaits you in the Everglow. Farewell, Nightingale. See to it the key stays this time, won't you?
I'm glad you were able to bring the key back safely. Nocturnal seemed quite pleased with your efforts.
Pleased? She sounded indifferent.
I wouldn't take that to heart. It's her way. Think of her as a scolding mother continually pushing you harder to be successful, outwardly sounding angry, but silently content. I assure you, had she been displeased with you, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
What's this about becoming an agent of Nocturnal?
The circles at the base of the Ebonmere imbue you with powers befitting a Nightingale agent. The crescent moon represents the agent of stealth, the half moon for the agent of subterfuge, and the full moon for the agent of strife.
Why can't I be all three?
This is Nocturnal's way of maintaining balance. If you ever feel the need to change your abilities, you can return to the sepulchre and step onto a different circle. Be warned that once you've chosen, you can't reselect for at least a day.
So what now?
Now, your life as a Nightingale begins. Should the need arise, you'll be summoned to the sepulchre in order to defend it.
And you?
The Guild has welcomed me back with open arms. I feel like a void in my life has finally been filled. I only hope that this isn't an ending to things, but actually the beginning.
The beginning of what?
Why, perhaps the greatest crime spree Skyrim's ever known. There are pockets brimming with coin and coffers overflowing with riches ripe for the picking. We may be Nightingales, but in our hearts we're still thieves, and we're damn good at what we do.
Tell me about the Nightingales.
Gallus, Mercer Frey and I were once members of what's known as the Nightingale Trinity. The Trinity disbanded 25 years ago when Mercer Frey betrayed us by slaying Gallus and dumping his body in the ruins of Snowvale Sanctum.
Were they a part of the Thieves Guild?
Indirectly. The Trinity is usually selected from the ranks of the Guild, although its existence is a closely guarded secret.
What is their purpose?
The Nightingales protect the Temple of Nocturnal, a place known as the Twilight Sepulchre.
Who is Nocturnal?
She's the mistress of night and darkness, and the patron of every thief in Tamriel.
I never met a thief that worshipped anything.
Nocturnal isn't one for worship and reverence. There are no priests and no sermons, no services, and no alms. She influences our luck, and in return, demands payment.
Sounds like a guild contract.
You're closer to understanding than you realize. The only difference is she doesn't demand payment in the traditional sense, and sometimes the cost can be quite high, whether you know it or not. Nocturnal dictates how well we perform as rogues.
I have my skill, not powers or magic.
Again, you have to think differently. Haven't you ever noticed how our luck behaves? Like a novice picking an impossible lock, or a blind man suddenly turning to face you as you reach for his pocket. It's through these subtle means that Nocturnal influences us.
Sounds like she just likes us to suffer.
Nocturnal's whim is the greatest mystery to everyone. There have been volumes written on the subject. Does she exact payment when we die? When we suffer, does she revel in our misery? No one knows. The return certainly seems worth the risk, though.
Tell me about the Agent of Stealth.
The Agent of Stealth is the master of remaining unseen. They are able to manipulate the darkness and use it to their advantage. On moonlit nights or in darkened rooms, this agent literally becomes invisible.
Tell me about the Agent of Subterfuge.
The Agent of Subterfuge utilizes shadow to cloud the judgment of those around him. By weaving the darkness to their will, this agent can manipulate others into fighting for the Nightingale for a limited time.
Tell me about the Agent of Strife.
The Agent of Strife can send forth a tendril of pure darkness into the heart of another, causing great injury to them. At the same time, this tether will bolster the agent's own life force, making him stronger. Choose your path, and your journey will be complete.
Carlyle?
Gallus! I feared I would never see you again. I was afraid you'd become like the others.
If it were not for the actions of this Nightingale, your fears would have come true. She honors us all.
What will you do now, my love?
Nocturnal calls me to the Everglow. My contract has been fulfilled.
Will I ever see you again?
When your debt to Nocturnal has been paid, we'll embrace once again.
Farewell, Gallus. Eyes open. Walk with the shadows.
Goodbye, Carlyle.